Hi guys, welcome back to the workshop. As I'm sure you've seen by the thumbnail, this is an update to the workshop diesel heater that I have currently installed in here. Off to my left hand side, I'll probably be looking at that quite often through this video. As the weather has now turned, shall we say, at the time of filming we are now just starting December. I thought it'd be a good time to bring the heater update to you, my thoughts on it and general ideas about it. So, a bit of a background. This heater was, or the idea of a heater was not a new idea to me at the time when I bought it, but I hadn't had the idea of using it in the workshop. These heaters are basically Chinese clones of is it Erspacher or Webasto overnight diesel heaters that are used in trucks and vans and things like that, camper vans, RVs, etc. They all are units that you plumb in. I don't know what the correct terminology is, but you'd have a separate fuel tank, probably running off the main fuel tank of the vehicle. What I've bought is a standalone unit, so it doesn't need any separate plumbing. It just needs a 12-volt power supply given to it. It's got a fuel tank built in, and that appealed to me as literally a standalone unit. The workshop itself, I think I calculated it out to be 143 cubic meters. So it's certainly a lot bigger than most areas that these heaters are designed to heat. The workshop is fully lined, fully insulated, with 50mm Celotex, sorry, closed cell insulation, polyurethane insulation I think it is. So once it gets cold it stays cold, or once it gets warm it stays warm. So with having the heater in here, it can keep it at a more constant temperature. I don't have the heater on all the time, it's only when I'm out here, or going to be out here, that it's on. And it does keep it at a steady temperature, which means everything in here stays at a more steady temperature. So the heater itself, I bought it from eBay. I can't find the link to the exact one. The one that I purchased, I found the link to, and it doesn't exist anymore. It's not being sold by that person anymore. But there are thousands to choose from. The one I chose was what I'd call the over and under, so the tank's on top of the heater unit. You can get side by sides where the tank's to the side of it, so it's flatter but wider. You also get the ones that have got a single large outlet, or the 4 outlets like what I've got. I had no preference because of where it's going. I wasn't trying to duct the air anywhere. If you were trying to duct the air to 4 different locations, obviously the 4 outlet would be better. I paid, I think, 90 or 95 quid for it, whatever that equates to in dollars, delivered to here. They might well have gone up a bit since then, due to demand, but even at 100 quid, I would go, and if I needed to, I'd go and buy another one without even thinking about it. They are very good units. If I'm brutally honest, there's very few things that I've got to complain about with the unit. I would sing its praises, but there's not much to sing its praises about. It just sits there, it does its thing. So it arrived to me all in good order. The first minor little downside was there was no real instructions. There's just a few pictures on a piece of paper saying which hoses plug in where and which one's the exhaust, which one's the inlet, so on and so forth. The controller didn't have any instructions with it, but I managed to get it turned on and got it working, and have subsequently found out what a few of the other functions are and how to use them. Installation, where it is, I'll see if I can remember to put the video up here of the previous video, but it's literally sat next to an air brick, which goes straight to outside, so the exhaust goes straight to outside, and it's only about 18-inch long exhaust pipe, I think. Some people have said to me, why not have it sat somewhere else, have a longer exhaust pipe going out the same hole but have the heater in a different place, so then you'll get the radiated heat from the exhaust pipe into the workshop as well. And I have contemplated that, but a few people I've spoken to have said that they've experienced issues with it not burning correctly, with an excessively long exhaust pipe. I don't know what excessively long is, but I might well experiment with it at a different point. If for whatever reason I need to move the heater, I might well try doing that sort of thing. But for now, it's working, it's going to stay there. It's installed in the workshop on a couple of 2x2 blocks, and that's it. It's freestanding, it's not bolted down or anything like that. It's got a 12 volt electrical feed from a power supply that's mounted up on the wall. Again, that's 240 down to 12 volt. But other than that, that's the installation. Fill it with fuel and away you go. The first of the niggles that I've had with it and still got with it is I don't keep a close eye on the fuel level. I just turn it on and let it do its thing. And when it runs out of fuel, which it invariably does, trying to get it primed back up again, it's not difficult, but you don't know if there's fuel going from the pump to the burner. You don't want to flood it. But if you just turn it back on again, it'll have a dry start sort of thing. It won't get fuel and it'll try and ramp up and it just won't work. So what I was doing was waiting for on the start process, waiting for the pump to start doing its thing and then turning it off straight away. So it gets a few pumps of the fuel pump to prime the burner. And then on the restart, it'll get a few more, and that should be enough to get it to go. Since, and only recently really, I found that the two right-hand buttons, top and bottom, if you press and hold them with it off but powered, it'll actually run the pump. So basically you can prime it manually. Biggest problem with that is you can't actually see the fuel line from the outside. You can't see it at all. So you can't tell if fuel's going through or not. So I let it go for 15 clicks of the pump and then stop. And that's normally enough to get it to go once it's run out of fuel. That's the biggest bugbear I've had with it. The controller, I think it's a middle of the road controller that comes with it. You get basic ones that are just like a knob turn dial, which is like 3 settings and that's it. You get touchscreen ones, I think. But the one I've got, I think it's a middle of the road one. It's got various different settings. I tend to use what I'd call a thermostatic setting. So you tell it what temperature you want the room to be, and it burns on full chat until it gets that temperature. Then it starts backing off down to idle, which is fine, but it does tend to use a lot of fuel doing that. I haven't really measured how much fuel it uses in a scientific way, but I did do an experiment, or should I say I noticed over the few days I've been working out here all day, if I put it on in the morning when it needs to be on, it's colder outside, I need warmth in here. If I put it on in the morning when I come out and then turn it off when I go in, it's using about 2 litres of fuel to do that. I'm running it on red diesel, which is currently 90 pence a litre, so it's probably cheaper than electric powered heating. Certainly more convenient. I know I can't run the same amount of wattage heating. That's a 5 kilowatt heater. I can only run 4 kilowatts through the electrical system here. And even with electrical heating, no fan heaters, I don't think I'd get that sort of heat output. So it's probably the best option for in here. If you had a smaller space, it would get hotter quicker, and therefore wouldn't be on its maximum burn for as long, and therefore it wouldn't use as much fuel. So yeah, it's sort of it swings around about. So I've got a bigger space that it's trying to heat up, and it's doing a really good job with it. Would I recommend it to other people? Yep. It's not something you'd want to, what I'd call hardwire or hard install into anywhere, because it is meant to be a freestanding unit. But certainly for this sort of environment, or a shed or a man cave or something like that, it's a good piece of kit to have. I quite regularly, I just come in the door, turn it on straight away without even thinking about it, and within half an hour it's nice and toasty warm in here. I can't think of any other downsides for it off the top of my head. One problem I do have is forgetting to go and get diesel to put in it and then run out and have to go and get more diesel. But that's not the machine's fault, that's my fault. So yeah, it's a good piece of kit. I'm happy with it. I would go and buy a second one if that broke. I suspect, I haven't had to do any maintenance on it, but I suspect it's relatively easy to do maintenance on. I do know, or I should say I have seen videos of how to strip them down to clean the burner chamber, because they can carbon up if they're running on idle for a long time. Fuel filter maybe changed at some point. But yeah, other than that, there's not really much maintenance to do on it. One comment that has been raised a lot, or should I say comments that I've seen raised a lot, is the noise. A lot of people complain about the fuel pumps being loud and clicky. I don't notice it, I don't hear it. You guys watching this have probably noticed them in my other videos when the heater's been on and you can hear a strange noise in the background clicking away. It's the heater. If people have got them installed in vans and camper vans and things like that, I can understand it being a bit of a disturbance if they're trying to sleep. But due to the nature of what the pump's doing, I don't think there is a quiet solution. So yeah, I live with it. It's not a problem for me, but other people might want to try and make them quieter somehow. Not quite sure how, but it's a minor thing really. But the long and short of it is, it's a good unit. I've not had any problems with it. I would buy another one. If somebody said, Nick, what do you think? Should I get one? I'd say yes. I couldn't tell you where to go and get one from because there's so many different places. I bought mine off eBay. From to me, an unknown seller to me, but they had good reviews, good feedback. You can get them on Amazon. There's in the UK, there's actual dedicated companies that just supply diesel heaters. But yeah, I'd certainly say if you want to get some warmth into your man cave, go and get one. It's a good piece of kit. If you've got any questions about it, stick them in the comments below. I always answer them. If you're not already, please consider subscribing. Easy for me to say. If you tick the bell, you get a notification when I put a new video up, which is normally at 7:30 on a Friday GMT. But yeah, from now in the nice cozy warm workshop, I'll catch you later.